Howdy guys, how to become an aviation firefighter in 2023. Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through all of the steps of the firefighter recruitment process for aviation rescue firefighter with Air Services Australia this year, 2023, and what you can do to give yourself the best chance to actually pass each stage and get selected. First step is the online application. Air Services, or ARFF, currently use an online portal for your personal information and your minimum requirements. Recruitment usually stays open for a period of 3 weeks. Now, Air Services Firefighter Recruitment is heavy on email and SMS communication and really encourages everyone to double check their advised contact details. And it's really worth making sure emails are not going to your spam folder or being filtered in some way. It happens more than you'd think. So make sure you check yours to avoid, possibly blocking firefighter recruitment emails. That's certainly not the aim here. Now, to get through this section of recruitment, you need to understand all the minimum prerequisite requirements needed and the personal information needed for you to fill out the portal correctly. Super critical. Make sure you follow all the instructions to the letter so you don't get cut in the very first stage. Unfortunately, I've seen it happen, but don't want you to be one of those. The next step, online ability assessments. And this is consisting of cognitive ability or aptitude and psychometric tests. The provider for this year's intake is still SHL. However, applicants need to be aware that although SHL provides general ability practice tests everywhere online, they have not been remotely reflective of the specific types of questions being used in the actual aviation firefighter recruitment tests. So to make sure you are up to date on what you will be tested on specifically, I do have a free sample test for you. And then as well, we've got full testing and courses available in my membership portal. In the membership portal, that's where I spend most of my time with a few people that are, smarter than me, researching and creating test material that allows you to get actual results. There are 3 sections in the aptitude component. We've got verbal, mechanical, and spatial reasoning questions. So each person will get a different question set drawn from a question bank. For those of you in members, you will find an aptitude checklist that identifies the testing categories, the number of questions per category, and the time limit to complete each test. SHL exam for ARFF takes approximately an hour to complete. Now, the Air Services exam is one of the more difficult and technical when compared with many of the other services. Next is the psychometric assessments, sometimes referred to as personality or psych tests. Aviation firefighter recruitment currently uses a work styles and talent screener test. Now, these are completed and assessed together with the cognitive exam. The work style, it assesses a person's work-related personality traits. So the traits they want to measure are related to effective job performance for a prospective aviation firefighter. Now, the talent screener is designed to see who among the candidates best fit the duties and selection criteria laid out during the recruitment. Now, this psychometric test is a quick but extremely important exam that will make a difference to whether or not you proceed regardless of a high cognitive ability score. To help you do well in this type of test, I do have a free firefighter personality blueprint course, and you can access that via the free training link below, so get your hands on that. Now, if I am working with you personally, I use a system where we do a really thorough breakdown analysis of this test, along with samples of answers from the firefighter personality blueprint. And this way you learn the underlying goal of this type of test and also the common pitfalls so you don't make any silly mistakes. I then use a testing tool that I've had created to see if you are inadvertently making any basic fundamental mistakes so that we can fix this before it is too late. And we're not looking to fool the test or anything like that. I just want you to go into it with your eyes open and give yourself the best chance possible. Of course, preparation meeting opportunity. And if someone is really just not fit for the job, that's not something we would even want to try to cover up. It's going to come out in the long run anyway, and it doesn't do any good for anyone. The next step is the physical assessment stage, or the PAT. Now, this is a pass or fail type of assessment. There is no beep test with ARFF for 2023. Phew, right? Instead, it has 2 stages, the physical aptitude test PAT and the functional performance tests, or FPT. Now, the PAT test has 3 sub-stages consisting of multiple types of physical exercises, pretty much deemed to gauge suitability to become an aviation firefighter. Stage 1, the ladder raise, is not timed. Stage 2, the jerry can carry, stair climb, rescue tool hold, and hose drag, and it is to be completed in less than 15 minutes. Stage 3 is the simulated fire attack and firefighter rescue, and this must be completed in 2 minutes or less. The FPT has been designed to assess the candidate's ability to perform 3 primary job functions required of an aviation rescue firefighter. Now, this includes vehicle driving and operator functions, working in confined spaces, and working at heights. Air Services has prepared a detailed outline of the exercises and what they are really wanting to gauge in each. You can utilize it in conjunction with my free PAT Accelerator benchmarking tool or full course in the members area. See the links in the video description below for all of that. Now, the key to passing the physical abilities test is not just being physically strong and fit. A lot of people who think they're fit and ready to roll, they get knocked out in the PAT because of a very simple misunderstanding or just bad technique during the exercises. Therefore, the best way to be PAT ready is to be familiar with all the exercises throughout the actual process. Just a tip, guys, although the beep test is no longer part of the testing, I suggest that you still train for and measure your VO2 max record to a minimum level 9.6. Just because the test is no longer included in the PAT doesn't mean that overnight firefighters no longer need a high level of cardio fitness. I probably think they removed this particular test. They could probably see a way to achieve a similar cardio challenge within the PAT test exercises themselves, but you still want to be at that level and not cutting any corners. Okay, so we passed the Aptitude, Psych Test, and physical tests. Now we move on to the assessment center. The assessment center, it consists of a behavioral panel interview, team exercises, and further literacy testing. I'm going to link to some resources to help you with the assessment center and give you a heads up on group activities as well. So check out these resources, giving you plenty. The big one for me in this is do not underestimate the interview. You'll get thrashed here if you don't have the ability to communicate exceptionally well. It's not, it's just not worth winging it at this stage of the game. It's so critical and they are looking for it as well. So on the free training page, you'll see what I call the interview decoder. I created this to help you be better prepared than the other 100 candidates that also want your job. And then up next is the reference check. Now, before reference checks are done, you will be contacted if you are successful in moving on to this step of the process. Now, at that time, if you're contacted, you do have the option of changing your referee's contact information. And if you're not currently employed, the reference of your most recent boss or supervisor, if any, will have to be provided. And this isn't a throwaway formality. Make sure you have good references. I know it sounds simple, but I have personally done reference checks only to get honest negative responses. So my suggestion, actually check that they are a good reference and, still like you. And then finally, the last steps of the aviation firefighter recruitment process are job offer. Awesome. You've made it. Congrats. That's the aim. Now, when you get the job offer, because you were smart, you did the work, you used the tools and got the edge over hundreds of other applicants, there is still a couple of little hurdles left. The first is the medical assessment. Now, the offer is contingent on the results of completing the pre-employment medical exam. When you progress to the medical assessment stage, you will be required to take a detailed, standardized pre-employment health assessment with an air services occupational physician. And the very last step in becoming an aviation firefighter is successfully completing your recruit course and getting to show off your new uniform in front of all your friends and family. You'll be notified and offered a position to give you the time to get ready for your first day of training. And you will go through a very rigorous 15-week training program at ARFF's Melbourne Training Centre before being assigned to your allocated fire station. Now, I'm assuming because you're watching this, you probably are, but if you are planning on becoming a firefighter in ARFF in 2023 and you've got questions, you need help or want an edge or want to use my free practice tests and tools, you will find all the information you need below. Otherwise, good luck, guys, and look forward to having you join the best job in the world. Cheers.